everybody, what's going on? Your host AMF1534 here. Welcome back to Let's Play some more Gran Turismo, the ultimate driving simulator. And in the last episode, we took on the final race in the normal car challenge, and we took home the grand prize, which was a big chunk of money to add into our bigger chunk of money to put us in the surplus of 400,000 credit coin dollar simoleons. And we also got this really cool teal blue Supra, which this thing just screams the 80s to me, back in a time when people were wearing like those huge ass dad glasses and you know, wearing like those teal and cyan blue like windbreaker jackets and tearaway pants. Oh yeah, that's what it reminds me of. Good times. I think it looks really cool on a Supra, by the way. So with that said, I think we're going to sell this car today. We now have 3 rear-wheel drive cars, and this is definitely the worst of them. But I feel bad selling it because it was the first car that we bought in this game, so it's kind of a bummer that we got to get rid of it. But it's okay. It'll be money well spent somewhere else, even if it's only $4,962. It's okay. It'll all be good in the end. So what we're going to be doing today, my friends, is we're going to go take on the 4-wheel drive cars event. It's the final one with a B-class license tag slapped onto it. So here we go. We got to go buy a car that'll fit the bill for it because we don't own one right now. So I could go into Subaru and get an Impreza. I could go into Mitsubishi and buy a Lancer. I'm still going to go into Mitsubishi, but I'm not going to do either one of those things that I mentioned beforehand because that's not really what I want to do. What I'm going to do, though, is I think, oh yes, I think it is time to bust out the twin-turbo Grand Tallywhacker Orchestra. Yeah, dude, I love this car. If memory serves me right, when I played this in Gran Turismo 2, because I used the GTO a lot in that game, if I remember correctly, when we start slapping turbo kits into this car, we are going to get a massive jump in horsepower. I'm talking, like, your head's going to detach from your spinal cord, and it is just going to, like, go levitate up in the air, spin around, and do, like, 40 revolutions in a row, and then it's just going to slam right back down into your body again. That's how crazy it's going to be when you see how much extra horsepower we get from this thing, which if somebody were to walk into my office while my head was doing that, that would be the most terrifying thing I think I've ever seen in my life. Or for them, actually. I wouldn't really be seeing anything. I'd just be seeing blurry crap. Okay, so let's get down to business here. I don't want to be fooling around for too long. So yeah, look at that. We get 32 Harry Potters just for the air filter. I mean, that's a lot. We weren't even getting anything close to that earlier. But here, my friend, this is where you're really going to see it. This is where you're really going to see it. It's so crazy. So the stage 1, we get that nice boost there, but it starts getting real crazy in a minute. Now we jump up to 495. And then here, we go up to 647. But this is the best one. Dun dun dun. 877 horsepower. That is insane for just a regular car like that. It is bonkers. But, I mean, twin turbo, man, that'll really do it for you. I'm not going to drop that amount of money. I don't think that we're going to need the supreme overkill that is. We may not even need this, but I am teetering on the edge of wanting to do it. Just because I want to make sure that we're going to win this. Because I know there's probably going to be like one car that will have somewhere around that amount of horsepower, around like the 495 to like 500 or whatever. So I just, I don't know. I kind of want to be on the safe side and just totally blow them out. But I think we'll go with stage 2. I do want to kind of save some money, even though people are going to be like, oh, come on, man. Do you not have enough at this point? Seriously. I mean, you definitely have a lot at this point. 516 is a lot. But, I don't know. I just want to make sure. I think we'll be okay, though. I just know that they're going to start throwing some really weird tracks at us to do this with. So, we'll see what happens. We'll get in there. Let's go do it. We'll do it hard. Watch, I'm gonna be right. Every car is gonna be probably somewhere in like what, maybe like the low to mid 300s, but there'll be like one car that's gonna be way up there right next to me, and it wouldn't even surprise me if it was actually the same car that we're sporting right now. Yeah, see, there is that one car with 457. Everybody else is actually pretty far down there. So we'll just see what happens. I think I'm feeling pretty good about my chances though. But I do want to do the qualifier laps just to be on the safe side here. So we'll see what. Oh, Trial Mountain. See what I'm saying, dude? They are gonna throw some weird stuff at me like that. Jeez, man, that thing like sprinted off the line. Normally cars will just kind of sit there and kind of sputter in place for a second before they really get going, but man, he didn't waste any time with that. He's just like, wham, I'm ready to go. I had my morning coffee. Let's do this. That is not how I wanted to start things. It's usually the last way you want to get that going is by just driving into the grass. It's kind of one thing that sucks is when you have this amount of power, braking is kind of an issue, and I totally didn't buy a better set of them, which I may have wanted to do, but you know what? We're gonna make this work. We will make it happen. I mean, if anything, even if we don't get pole position here, we're probably gonna at least get second behind the guy that's driving the other GTO in this whole thing. So we'll see what goes on here. Oh man, I gotta tell you about this really intriguing conversation I had with Lige the other night after I went and saw Sinister. Actually, it was the last episode I did when I told you guys I was going to go see that on Friday, I think it was. It was really tight, by the way. It was really good. There's definitely, I think that a lot of the deaths and crazy stuff that happened in the first Sinister were still better. But there were definitely a few scenes in this movie that were very, very uncomfortable to watch. So anybody that's on the fence about it, man, just give it a go. I think that you'll really like it. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, yeah, that may have thrown us off from getting it. Let's see how we finish. That was pretty sloppy. I will go right ahead and say that. That was not the cleanest run that I've ever seen. Wow, we got last place. Last place, huh? Interesting. Okay, all right. Somehow a car with 297 horsepower managed to outdo me in that. That's particularly interesting. I would have loved to have seen him do that. Would have loved it. So back to the real thing here. So after the movie, Lige and Matt and I, we all went over to my friend Colby's house, and we were watching like the White Sox and Mariners game over there, and after a while, we started jumping onto YouTube, and we started watching a bunch of unexplained video, like unexplained weird stuff videos. Like the one that we first started watching was the unexplained death of Elisa Lam, which if you guys don't know about that, you got to go check that out. It is weird. It's about there's like a closed circuit TV video of her. Like having this really weird, she was like acting really erratically while she was inside of an elevator at like a hotel in Los Angeles, and it looked like she was like hiding from somebody, and then she ended up like leaving the elevator, and the next thing that they knew, like 2 weeks later, they found her dead body inside of the the water tower on top of the building. Dude, it was weird. Man, my car is just swaying like crazy right now. This thing needs to chill. Okay. So obviously we're definitely not blowing people away right now, which, I mean, obviously I couldn't expect that to happen when we've got other cars that are really hanging with us right now. I think we'll eventually pull away though, because we do have the most power here. Definitely got the most horses under the hood, so I think that eventually we'll be in good shape. We just got to kind of have that one moment that we can use to separate ourselves from the rest. Man, dude, these guys are really giving me a run right now. We'll just have to use this to give ourselves a little bit of breathing room for a moment. So we definitely watched that, and it was really strange. And we started watching like the different theories on what could have happened there, and then we started just getting into a bunch of other things like unexplained video, like other unexplained videos, other like paranormal things, like Area 51 secrets. I ended up showing Lige and Colby this particular UFO evidence video that I've watched a number of times with Matt over the years. Came out in like 2012, and just shows like a compilation of a lot of different really intriguing pieces of footage for it. And then somewhere in the middle of the video, there was like this one particular like audio clip from the Art Bell show back in like 1997, of a guy that had supposedly worked for Area 51 called in and was like totally freaking out, and he was like talking to him about aliens and like what the government's trying to hide from us about that, which I could believe bits and pieces of it. Like, I actually wouldn't doubt a lot of what he was saying, but it was pretty wild, man. Okay, we gotta hold him off right here. We've got to have a better turn right here than what we've been having. Come on, there we go. All right, we get the W. See, that's all I really wanted, man. I just want to get the win. We gotta start these tournaments out hot, you know. So after that, later on, after we'd done that for like a couple hours, it was Elijah and I driving back home, and then we had this really weird conversation about aliens. Like, I've never had a conversation with anybody about aliens like this before, so it was just kind of strange to me. But we were sitting there like just theory crafting things about aliens in general. And like the first one that I thought of, ooh, Grand Valley Speedway, we're doing it the right way for a change. Yeah, we'll do it, why not? I'm trying to get some extra money here. We dropped a lot of cash on building this car, so we might as well try to, you know, make as much money back as we can. So we were just like theory crafting about aliens a little bit. Like, say, for instance, like if they were to send people to other planets, like how long with like our knowledge of, you know, of like technology and just the environment in general, like if we had like a really good understanding of like what was like available on said planet or whatever, like how long do you think it would take for civilization to like reach what it is right now? Like how long do you think it would take before we had pretty much everything up and running as we do today here, with, you know, say things like you know, having like an urban infrastructure and having things like, you know, restaurants and like you know, sporting stadiums and like government offices and, you know, just like proper amounts of like residential homes and all that kind of, and like farms and all that, and schools and everything. Like how long would it take, do you think, before we'd have, you know, life on a new planet set up this way? Or if we would even do that at all. There's also, you know, the possibility, you know, with our knowledge that we have now of like what all of our technology and industry, like what it does to the environment, would we even like live the same way, or would we just like totally conduct everything differently with you know, with knowing how we can like preserve, you know, the planet and the atmosphere and all that? So that was one thing that we thought of. Another one that we thought of was like the way that, like, okay, say like the way that we think about aliens, like the way that we try to contact them with like our really like long range satellites, and just like the way that people think about it in general. Like, do we say like, oh, I wonder if there's any aliens out there, like I wonder what they're like, you know, I wonder if they're hostile, or, you know, when we try to communicate with them and whatnot, like because I'm taking this with the assumption that aliens do exist. Like, I'm thinking, like, do aliens do they have that same way of thinking about, like, us? Like, are they on their own planet wondering about alien life the same way that we think about it here? Or do they not think of it that way? Or, like, do they use, like, the same type of technology to try to communicate with, you know, say, like, us, in the same way that we do them? Like, do they have movies depicting aliens looking like us, or whatnot? You know, it'd be. I always thought about that. Like, we can't be like the only beings in the universe that think about alien life that way, where, you know, it's like that fascinating. You know, so I always wondered, like, if they think about alien life the same way that we do, where, you know, we wonder whether they're hostile or not, or if they even really bother trying to communicate with us in that sense. Which leads me to the next one, which was actually, like, this was the one that really got me thinking the most, and this is the one that Elijah and I, we both kind of looked at each other like, oh boy, what if, you know? So in one of the videos that we were watching during that whole thing, that was talking like Area 51 secrets. One of the bullet points they had made was like there were some different like ex-workers that this particular that they had read about, that they had interviewed, that said that there are already, like, you know, colonies of, like, alien civilization, like, already, like, working and living in Area 51. And so with that said, like, we thought about it. We're like, what if, just in pure theory, like, what if, like, the aliens that are at Area 51, what if they're not actually, like, what if they're not, like, working there? Like, what if they're being held hostage there? And, like, what if all of the UFO sightings that we have seen ever since, you know, we've ever started seeing them, what if every one of those was actually, what if those were actually, like rescue missions that have failed? Like, what if those were all missions to extract the aliens that were trapped in Area 51 in Roswell? What if all those were attempts from like, alien civilizations to try to rescue them from us, but because they're seen, like, all around the world, like, they can't actually, like, pinpoint where we're at? Wow, that really got out of hand. Wow. And now we're in last. Yet somehow we're still in the hunt here. That was crazy. Never had that happen before, where I've gone out of bounds, like, so, you know, wildly, yet I just kind of jumped right back onto it and everything was fine. That was very bizarre. I'm having a real problem controlling this car right now, though. It is a little bit crazy. But yeah, dude, that was the one that I really thought about, and I was like, whoa, what if? Because it'd be strange, it'd be interesting because of the fact that, like, a lot of Area 51, so much of it is underground, so it would make sense for them not to be able to, like, really pinpoint a position of where they're at. And so, like, they're just, like, searching all around the planet trying to find out where they are, and that's why there's so many instances of UFOs in just various parts of the world, because they can't find out where they're actually at when they just eventually give up and go back to their home planet and, like, recon for another visit at a different time. That's the one that I thought of that could potentially, like, make a little bit of sense, you know? It's just so, I don't know, it's so fascinating to me to think about it that way. Am I right or am I wrong? Who's to even know? But it was also, like, 3 in the morning that day, and so, you know, we were just kind of, like, letting our minds run away with us on that whole matter. But I don't know, it was very interesting to think about. So yeah, you know. And then, oh, actually, this was the funny part. So, oh, come on, here we go. Gotta stave him off. Dude, that's just like a Toyota Celica GT4. How the hell would that thing be holding up with this car right now? So the other thing, so he was, so I pulled up to his house right as we got done talking about this part, and he's like, all right. He's like, well, he's like, all right, I'm gonna go inside. And I was like, all right, man, I'll talk to you later. And so he goes in, and I drive off, and I'm headed back to my house. And I'd been driving for just a few minutes, and I got a text from him. And he was like, so I walked into my room, and all of the lights were off. And I went to turn my TV on, didn't turn on. I went to turn my PS4 on, and it didn't turn on. And it's the only room in the house that doesn't have power that's working right now. And like, as soon as I read that, my skin started to tingle, and he just, like, texted me, what if there's an alien in my house right now? And dude, I was like, I know that's, like, super far-fetched, it's just like whatever, but just because it was so late and my mind had already, like, run away with that concept so much already, dude, I was so ready to just, like, flip a U-ass on the road and just turn around and be like, I'm coming for you, man! It's rescue time! And I was seriously considering it, and then he sent me a text. He's like, yeah, it was just a fuse broke. Fuse blew out, and so I just had to go to the breaker and fix it, so everything's good now. But he's like, dude, I was so not down with that at all when it initially happened. I was just like, come on, man. But yeah, dude, it was weird. So, alien talk. It's crazy. It's definitely not the kind of thing that's good to think about really late at night, especially, like, when you're driving home and you're just, like, hoping to God that you don't see something up in the air. Because, like, it would be so, like, intriguing to actually see one right there in front of you. But at the same time, like, if they were hostile and they decided to attack, like, you'd be, like, one of the first people to probably see like your own demise just unraveling in front of you. If, you know, if it's the kind of thing that you would see in Hollywood where, like, they beam down, like, some laser that goes into, like, the core of the earth and everything just starts exploding in front of you or whatever, but, man, that'd be weird. And then the last thing before I call off for the evening was, he's like, what if we saw one out here right now while we're driving on the freeway and they abducted us and we've got onto their spaceship and they were just like super cool and we just like partied with them and they had like all the pizza and like all the awesome music and gems and whatnot. I was like, yeah, dude, that'd be really cool. We're just having like a pizza party up there. But like, I was like, well, wait a minute. Would they be listening to our music? Or would they be listening to their own alien music that we wouldn't understand, but would it be just like really cool sounding in general? Like what would it be like? And if they were having like food on there, like I can't imagine that they'd be eating pizza from like their own planet, because I don't feel like they'd have pizza on their own planet. So like, what would they be eating? Like, what would aliens eat, you know? And so then we started going into that direction for a while. Like what do they eat for food? And like, what do they drink? Like, I can't imagine they're just drinking beers on their own planet. But maybe they are, man. Maybe they're making alien brew. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe they're taking shots of otherworldly whiskey. You never freaking know. So, okay, I think I've allowed this to go way too far off. So, when we come back on the next episode of Let's Play Gran Turismo, the Ultimate Driving Simulator, we're going to take on Special Stage R5-2, which means I think we're doing it in reverse orientation. Woo! My favorite way. So until then, my friends, this is your host, AMF1534, saying thank you guys for watching and listening to my crazy alien rambling, and I will see you guys next time. Take care, everybody. Bye.